Speak to that, and in closing, looking at the evidence of the massive election fraud we saw 2 years ago, what you're expecting this time?
Well, first of all, it's very important that you can't just scream election fraud if you lose. You have to have absolutely solid, documented proof. You can't just say, oh, well, more people showed up at my rallies than at my opponent's rallies, therefore there must have been voter fraud. It doesn't really work that way. So anybody who sees a situation in which there's strong indications of fraud based on anomalies or irregularities, they have to have really stone cold proof, the kind of proof that would hold up in court.
Roger Stone is making some seemingly direct comments. You can't just say you've lost an election with no proof. It has to hold up in court. You can't just keep on and bringing up this election fraud for 2 straight years for no reason. Who is he talking about? There's a bunch of pictures behind him in that video. I think one of those people is who he's talking about. But he's upset. Actually, there's always some motivation behind the types of things people say that are sometimes surprising, which in my opinion, this is pretty surprising. He's upset because he was looking for yet another pardon over the post-January 6th debacles that went down, which he didn't receive. He got the first one before, but he's looking for that one. And part of that frustration, or at least one of the scapegoats of it, appears to also be Jared Kushner, the former president's son-in-law. So maybe he just believes he's being inked around by Jared, and then therefore he didn't get his pardon. We're gonna get to details of that, but this is potentially what led to this video that was circulating last week from this documentary film that followed Roger Stone. And he was going off. Remember this?
Jared Kushner has an IQ of 70. He's coming to Miami. We will eject him from Miami very quickly. He'll be leaving very quickly. He has 100 security guards. I'll have 5,000 security guards. You want to fight? Let's fight. You and your abortionist bitch daughter.
Daughter? Who is he talking about? Well, if he's talking about anyone with Jared Kushner, which he did say a name there, then a daughter. I don't think their daughter's old enough to be to fit that description, but maybe he's talking about Jared's wife. That's what people are speculating. Either way, from that clip, here's some details of why this is even available. Danish filmmaker Kristoffer Guldbrandsen, part of a team that captured the moment for his upcoming documentary, A Storm Foretold, he told the Daily Beast that the tense scene was from Inauguration Day on January 20th and recorded in Fort Lauderdale. Roger Stone has been holding out for a pardon till the very last minute. He had first written up a memo early on after January 6th with a plan about encouraging Trump to pardon the lawmakers who had voted against certifying and Roger Stone and some of his clients. And that's really that's convenient. Just lawmakers and him and his clients. Anyways, but he says towards the end of the road, Stone, who was increasingly frustrated, pushed for just a pardon for himself and longtime pal Bernard Kerik, is what the filmmaker also said. Now, Stone is still upset, as I mentioned, that Kushner could have been part of the process or the team that determined whether or not Trump was given those pardons. And apparently Kushner had Trump's ear. So Guldbrandsen added that upon Stone learning that he wouldn't receive a pardon on Inauguration Day, he became very upset. Aside from Donald Trump, he also held Kushner responsible for being the guy who was the point man on the pardon. All of this over another pardon. The guy is still free. I mean, I guess he's worried about the potential for anything. But these guys keep talking about pardons. I need to get away from this, get away from that, and then go law and order for you. But this is all based off of a pardon.
Yeah, all these cats are honestly really similar. Trump seems to just attract the biggest and most unabashed grifters that the country has to offer. In the case of Roger Stone, he's been running this GOP grift since the 70s. Yeah. That's 50 years of grift. I mean, so we shouldn't be surprised that he refused to let go of something like this and that he would get petty, which isn't even petty, he's just saying the truth. But it's petty in those circles. Like, you never go against your friends, quote unquote, even if they're just lying to the public constantly. And in this case, as you mentioned, JR, for 2 years, he's getting petty and he's just like, well, this isn't true, so we should stop saying it. But that's only because he's got scores to settle.
Yeah, he's the usefulness of this entire lie is ended with, it's expired for him. He's like, well, I didn't get the pardon. That's the reason why I was on board for this. What am I here for? In fact, your The abortionist bitch daughter, Jesus, this guy goes nuclear. But that's the anger, that's the approach. And for some reason, people still see this as an appealing person to be near, as well as Donald Trump. I don't know those folks, or how those folks see it. They must see a little bit of themselves in these folks.